Google didn't build Gemini to join the AI race. It built Gemini to defend the biggest habit on Earth: people asking questions. Alphabet, Google's parent company, made about $350 billion in revenue in 2024 and about $100 billion in net income. That's country money, bigger than the entire economy of many nations. And here's the signal that this is not a side project. Alphabet spent about $52.5 billion on capital expenditures in 2024. For 2025, it guided roughly $75 billion in CapEx. That is war spending. Not to look cool, to stay default. For 20 years, Google ran a simple loop: search, click, ads, money. AI breaks the click. Because when people get answers instantly, they don't open 10 tabs. They don't bounce across websites. And they don't behave like the old web. That's the core problem. The interface is changing from links to answers. And when the interface changes, the power shifts. So Google's real question wasn't, how do we build a chatbot? It was, how do we remain the starting point when the starting point becomes an answer screen? Gemini is not the product. Gemini is the defense system. Ownership is simple. Gemini is a Google product under Alphabet. But the behind it story matters. Because Gemini isn't one team's launch. It's the result of two engines being welded together. Google's distribution, search, Android, Chrome, Gmail, Docs, Maps, YouTube, the doors the world already walks through. And DeepMind, the research lab built to push frontier AI. In 2023, Google combined DeepMind and Google's brain team into one unit, Google DeepMind. Translation: one lab, one roadmap, one deployment pipeline. So Gemini is what happens when the biggest distribution machine on Earth gets a single brain factory. There isn't a single Gemini founder, but there are clear protagonists. Google's original empire was built by Larry Page and Sergey Brin, a mission to organize the world's information. DeepMind's story begins in 2010, founded by Demis Hassabis and co-founders including Shane Legg and Mustafa Suleyman. Their pitch wasn't build another app, it was build intelligence. Google acquired DeepMind in 2014. After that, the lab became the long-term R&D engine inside Google. So when Gemini arrives, it's not random. It's the moment when research plus infrastructure plus distribution get pushed into consumer products at scale. This is why the stakes are bigger than which model is smarter. Google is trying to lock the next interface. Most AI companies have to convince you to download an app. Google doesn't. Google can place Gemini inside the tools you already use. Search for questions, Chrome for browsing, Android for daily life, Gmail and Docs for work, Maps for planning, YouTube for discovery. So Gemini doesn't need to go viral. It needs to become default. And this is how defaults are built. Not with one big launch, but with 100 tiny placements. A suggestion in your search box, a help me write button in your email, a summarize button in your browser, a plan this trip helper in your map, a turn notes into a doc feature in your workflow. When the same helper shows up everywhere, it stops feeling like an app. It becomes part of the operating system. That's why distribution is Google's advantage. It can force frequency without forcing hype. Gemini is not one app. It's a model family that can power different products in different places. That matters because Google's goal is coverage. Big models for deep tasks, smaller models for fast everyday tasks, and on-device intelligence when it makes sense. This is how you get AI into billions of users without burning money on every request. Google's goal isn't that you love Gemini, it's that you rely on it for small tasks. Summarize this email, rewrite this paragraph, turn bullet points into a draft, explain a concept fast, compare options, plan the next step. Small tasks create frequency. Frequency creates routine. Routine becomes, I just use it. That's the trapdoor. Once it's routine, you stop comparing. You stop shopping, you return. And the more you return, the more the assistant feels personal, even if it's the same model, because it's attached to your daily context. Integration is what makes AI feel instant. The future assistant can't be a separate destination. It has to sit inside actions: typing, searching, scheduling, messaging, drafting, browsing. So Google pushes Gemini into do the task moments. Write a reply, Fix tone, summarize a thread, extract action items, generate a plan, compare products, create an outline. This is not about one perfect answer. It's about removing friction everywhere. Because when the assistant removes friction, people don't ask, should I use AI? They ask, why wouldn't I? Google's empire is still built on advertising, but AI forces the business model to evolve. So Gemini supports multiple lanes. Protect search. Even if search becomes answer first, Google must keep search as the default starting point, because that's where intent lives, and intent is where money lives. Expand cloud. AI is infrastructure heavy. Enterprises will pay for compute, deployment tools, security, and managed services. Cloud becomes the picks and shovels business of the AI era. Paid tiers for power users. When Gemini saves time inside Gmail and Docs, businesses pay for higher limits, admin controls, and reliability. A developer platform. If developers build on your tools, you win twice. You sell compute, and you embed your ecosystem into their products. So while everyone argues who has the smartest model, Google plays a different game. Mass adoption first, then monetization at scale across lanes. Here's what most people underestimate. AI is physical. Every answer costs money. Chips, power, cooling, networking, data centers. That's why CapEx is the story. $52.5 billion in 2024, $75 billion planned for 2025. Google is buying the ability to run intelligence at scale, because the company that can serve answers cheaper, faster, and at higher volume wins the habit war. And the company that wins the habit war wins the money war. Big models for heavy tasks, smaller models for everyday actions, and on-device intelligence when possible, because it reduces latency and cost. If AI answers reduce clicks, Google has two options. 1. Replace clicks with a new monetization layer inside the answer experience. Or 2. Keep enough clicking behavior alive that the ad engine still works. That's the balancing act. Google can't innovate its way into destroying the thing that funds innovation. So expect one priority: AI that feels better, without collapsing the economics of search. Consumer hype is loud, but enterprise money is stable. Businesses don't pay because AI is exciting. They pay when AI reduces costs and speeds decisions. Drafts in seconds, summaries in minutes, action items automatically, internal knowledge search, customer support workflows. Google's advantage here is packaging. It can bundle AI into tools companies already license, then upsell higher tiers, security, admin controls, and compliance features. That's not flashy, that's recurring revenue. In most markets, people don't adopt what's best, they adopt what's easiest. If Gemini is one click away inside products you already use, that beats download a new app. But users can still try competitors instantly. So Google needs more than model quality. It needs quality plus integration plus reliability plus distribution. And it needs speed. If the assistant feels slow, expensive, or unreliable, habit dies. And habit is the whole strategy. Ignore demos. Watch behavior. Google is winning if Gemini becomes the first button people press inside Google products. If users stop opening separate AI apps for basic tasks. If businesses standardize on Gemini inside Workspace instead of buying a separate tool. And if search remains the starting point, even as the interface becomes more answer-based. That's the entire game. Default usage plus repeat usage. Here's the simplest way to understand Google's advantage. It doesn't need to convince you. It just needs to be present. People don't wake up and choose a search engine every morning. They don't pick a browser every time they open a laptop. They don't redecide their email provider weekly. They reuse what already works. That's why the default position is priceless, because it turns marketing into habit. So Gemini's mission is not to win one comparison test. It's to become the AI layer you encounter first. The first suggestion, the first button, the first assist. And if Google gets that position, even if competitors are slightly better on some tasks, most users won't notice. They'll stay where they started. One reason Google cares about smaller models is privacy and speed. If a task can run on device, you get faster responses and less data moving around. That makes the assistant feel more trustworthy for everyday use. Summaries, rewrites, quick explanations, and small planning tasks. It won't solve everything, but it lowers friction, and friction kills adoption. Now for the risks. If Gemini is confidently wrong at the wrong moment, people disengage. If AI feels forced into everything, intrusive, spammy, unreliable, people resist. If one company owns the starting point to information and then owns the layer that generates answers, scrutiny rises. If answers reduce clicks too much, Google must redesign monetization without ruining the experience. And if AI summarizes content and traffic drops, publishers complain and regulators listen. So the question becomes, can Google keep winning without becoming the backlash story? Here's how empires survive interface shifts. They stop relying on one hit and they build a universe. Not one Gemini app, a Gemini layer across everything. Because attention gets people to try it, but usefulness makes them stay. Gemini isn't trying to be your favorite AI, it's trying to be your default brain. And the AI war won't be decided by one demo. It'll be decided by one brutal truth. Who owns the starting point? That's the empire play. Clean signals, massive distribution, repeat habits.